We are live for the Power BI Pro Unplugged. Excited about today. And I also have my teammate Robert with me here. Robert, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, yeah. I've been kind of trying this for a few times. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like words have power, and I wanted something which felt kind of candid, real,
Yeah.
and unplugged. This is the first unplugged episode. But I'm excited about this. So, hey, folks, if you're joining us live, just put something in the chat. Let me know where you're joining from. Love seeing your hellos. And yeah, so we want to talk about tech. We want to talk about career. We want to talk about business entrepreneurship. And yeah, we just want to share a slice of our life. And right now, Robert, we do have an exciting time going on for lots of exciting stuff going on in the program. Mark Walter says
Yeah.
hi. Hey, Mark, good to see you on. So we last week we kicked off the 30-day dashboard challenge for our Learn Power BI members,
Yes.
and I think that one is something. It's weird. I know everybody who joined the program, they want to get better at Power BI, but we kind of get
Yeah.
stuck in our own lives. And you and I have talked about it, about this how do we break that? And almost you have to trick your brain. And one of those is to, do a challenge, sign up for something, do it in a group, kind of like running like a marathon. So we'll come
Yeah.
back and talk more about that. But we have something equally exciting going on this week, which is the
Yeah.
Learn Power BI scholarships. And folks, Learn Power BI scholarships, it's near and dear to my heart. Yeah, the first time I launched it, I shared my story of how when I had left my job at Microsoft, I had burned through all my savings and I couldn't buy, I think it was milk and eggs at the store. And that was painful, but that was a blip in my whole life.
How long was that? How many years ago?
Well, so I left Microsoft in 2014. Yeah. So, and I don't know.
Ten, 10 years ago. A decade.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it was a long time. But that was just a blip. It was a painful blip. It was just really painful. But before that and after that, I've never had to, kind of, yeah, I mean, worried about it. But I know, Robert, you and I, we both meet people who
Yeah.
are very, very keen on learning Power BI,
Yeah.
but they may not have the financial resources. Oh, we're getting a few hellos. So hey, I'm gonna say hi to a few folks. Jeff Road is here. Mandy, good to see you. Loretta Sue from Florida. Hopefully the alligators are not biting. And Modene says hello from Chad. Barry, hello from Netherlands. And we have Paul. Hey, good day, mate. Yeah, Paul is a local right here from Issaquah. You know what? So folks, we did offer the scholarship back in 2020, but I'm doing other things. I'm focused on my Learn Power BI program. I'm doing career coaching. We're helping people become entrepreneurs, consultants. There's a lot going on, and it took Robert to revive that. And to this point, I don't know if you guys know, Robert is really the one who runs the scholarship pretty much end to end. I support in launching it, but Robert talks to the people, right? And we'll talk about that, the process that we go through. Make sure
Yeah.
that, hey, this is a good fit, that the scholarship program can help them get to their goals. And then he gets that group together, and it's a scholarship slash mentorship. We talk about that a little bit, but it's so hands-on because Robert takes them through the 5-week process, essentially a version of the 30-day challenge that we're taking our
Yeah.
Learn Power BI members through. So you put in so much of that. But Robert, I remember some of the conversations that I had with you, which shifted my outlook because you shared some of your own challenges. Do you mind
Yeah.
just talking? Yeah, telling me again some of those stories that
Yeah.
whichever
So
part feels relevant.
sure, sure. So I think the conversation, and we've had this a couple of times, and it was about skills, certificates, and the whole get learning thing. And we might have had different opinions. And one thing that I feel very strong about or passionate about is I have been a beneficiary over in my life of multiple scholarships. And yeah, so I know that through going, one, having people as a group, learning something as a group, and being exposed to the things that I've been exposed to through the scholarships really open doors and also give me the confidence. And in most places, people just want to go through the process with other people to even have the confidence to apply a job or to feel that they are worthy, because maybe they are coming from a place where um, they don't even believe they can do some of these things. So as much as, and we've had this conversation, as much as a lot of things today through the internet you can learn lots of information, being given an opportunity to learn in a structured way, to be part of a cohort or a group, can instill some confidence in a person. And yeah, I was part of this scholarship, and I've learned that it
Yeah.
can be really really helpful. Yes.
Yeah. But you're right about that. And of course, you and I have been working on that pretty much for years. It's a journey. It's a step-by-step process. And there
Yeah.
are a lot of steps. So we meet people who are right at the edge of usually starting their Power BI journey. They've probably tinkered with something, a little bit of the online free resources. And hey, I'm sure the free resources work for some people. They can just go out on the internet and just learn something new, master Power BI. But I
Yeah.
know that it doesn't work for a lot of people. And you and I know the challenges, right? So the one of the big challenges is just overwhelmed, right? The challenge now isn't that there's lack of information, it's too much information.
Too
You're
much
drinking from a
information.
fire hose,
Yes.
right?
Yes, for
So that's
sure.
number one. And number two is that you're learning, if you're trying to drink from the fire hose, you're still learning in bits and pieces. And Power BI is a different beast, certainly very different from Excel. Excel, you can learn in 1001 tips and tricks. Power
Yeah.
BI, oh my God, you are just digging a hole for yourself and just getting deeper and deeper if you try to learn it that way. And we come across people who have been using Power BI for years, but are still not confident. And that's because they're missing the core concepts. So, yeah, you need a structured step by step program. But there's that. And of course, what? It was 2 weeks ago. And hopefully, some of you folks joined that session, Zero to Power BI Pro in 5 steps, where we laid out the steps because our goal has always been not for you to learn Power BI, but become a pro. And that means getting that new job, getting that promotion, getting that bonus, becoming that independent consultant, creating the life of freedom and control. And boy, that's a whole other thing. And you mentioned that, like, how do you get the confidence to walk into, yeah, how do you get to that level? So learning Power BI, taking a course is one thing, but how do you get to that level where you can walk in an interview with confidence? So I wanted to post this earlier, but I'm glad
Mhm.
I actually I was talking to somebody who was interested in learning Power BI program, and they were like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
in between jobs," and I said that, "Hey, one of the best ways to get a job is to be able to show proof of work."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that. That's coming from the number one best-selling job hunting guidebook out there for I think many years. What color is your
Yeah.
parachute? Proof of work is one of the best ways. Is number two, by the way. Of course, you and I have talked about it. Number one is if you've already worked for them, so they don't need proof of work
Internal.
because they have seen your work. Which
Yeah.
yeah, sure. So short of that, it's the best way to find a job. And I know we are focused on helping both our members in the Learn Power BI and the scholarship program. So, hey, let me ask you something else. So, I know logistically we run it kind of
Yeah.
separately. So, I focus on Learn Power BI, you focus on the scholarship. But in your mind, do you feel that it's any different? Are these candidates different? Do you feel the process is different with them? I'm curious.
Um, I don't. Well, slightly different. I feel like some the process that we use to for people to apply through the scholarship is very thorough. and people, the application process is very detailed. So that is what I would say is the biggest difference, that people have to really um, prove that they deserve this. And partly why is because we put in a lot of time and effort to prepare the
Yeah.
scholarship. So for the people who are applying, we expect nothing less. So that I'd say is the main difference. But once a person has been selected for the scholarship, I would say I give them my all, or basically how the
Yeah.
course is structured or how it's designed. We give them as much attention as we give the normal Land Power BI students. So the only
Yeah.
difference is the onboarding, that they have to be really set and on high gear, because we expect nothing less. We're putting our best foot forward. We expect them to do the same.
Absolutely. And there's a saying in our industry of online trainers that if they don't pay, they don't pay attention. And and I've seen that in so many settings. We do a real Power BI where we do free Power BI projects for companies. And
Yeah,
sometimes we're
yeah,
working with nonprofits, sometimes we're working with other companies. But one of the big challenges there is, again, they sometimes, not always, but sometimes they don't pay attention.
yeah,
Whereas they don't, I mean, I hope they realize that they're getting something, consulting help, which could cost other companies $5,000, $10,000 or more. And here they are getting it for free, and they would not show up for the meetings, cancel, just
yeah,
walk out of the whole project. It's like, oh yeah, we're too busy, or something just happened. I'm like, gosh, yeah. So I think the way I see it is that scholarship process, but yeah, so if you don't pay, you don't pay attention, but you can pay in different
yeah,
ways. And of course, scholarship is for people who are stressed, the financial resources, they don't have that, but we want to make sure that there's time and commitment, so that's why the application process is there. But what about that phenomena? Here we are giving away something of real value. I mean, we have
yeah,
seen the results our members can get from a Learn Power BI program. We have our wall of inspiration with so many examples after examples of what members have created. So we know the results are possible,
yeah.
but we still kind of have a hard time finding good candidates. Like people just like uh, they would kind of fill out the form but not fill out the whole application, and then some fill out the application and then just kind of disappear. And of course, the maybe the most bizarre one is that they get the scholarship and then people drop off too. And hey, life
Yes.
happens, so I get it. Some of it, it's going to happen, right? I mean, if you
Yeah.
start the scholarship with, let's say, 10 people or 20 people, out of those 10, some would drop off. Things happen.
Yeah.
But is there more to it, you feel? Is there
That's
more that we can do to help people help themselves? And of course, that applies to both
that's
scholarship
a
and
really
Learn
good
Power BI.
question, because we've seen that's a really good question, because we've even seen people who pay for the online course and not go
Yeah.
through with it. So and I think we have been we've tried. This is a question that keeps on coming back again and again. How do we help people? So one of the things I think has come out clearly is, of course, the selection, to make sure that the people you're choosing are people who are willing to take action. By that, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, find people who are willing to take small steps towards reaching their goal. Because I think even accepting or applying for a scholarship is one big step. And the
Yeah.
person may feel relatively comfortable to just take that, but they may lack the consistency or the discipline to take there are the smaller steps to grow, and that happens to the best of us. So one of the things, and we've had a conversation about this, it could be, it's like a journey, an internal journey, the same way even in our daily lives we try so many projects, and you find yourself with a lot of projects and a lot of things that you're hoping to accomplish, and for some reason either you lack motivation or you lack the drive to achieve them. So one of the things that I've seen that has even helped me in my personal life is when we've done the morning challenges, where you peg one thing and you're consistent to it, and that kind of overflows. It has effect in other things that you're doing in your life.
Yeah.
Basically, taking care of yourself, taking care of just holding on to something that you're consistent can help you to be consistent in other things. So a
Yeah.
morning challenge, morning routine, like we try from time to time here at Timavi. I'm thinking maybe this time we can try and do that as well with our scholarship members will get selected. We can have a 30-day or 2 weeks at least
Yeah.
morning routine, and
Y-
maybe
y-
that could
Yeah.
spill over some sort of consistency.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, of course, we've talked about it, and action, taking action as coaches and as guides and trainers, we have come to appreciate that if we see someone taking action, we want to give them all the support that we can. And but yeah, but we can't control it fully. So if somebody chooses not to take action, and yeah, we want to trust their choice. We'll trust that they'll make the right choice for them. But if somebody is feeling stuck out there,
Yeah,
I'll say that let action be your guide. And
yeah,
as Robert was talking about, it doesn't have to be big action. In fact, I think you should really focus on small action, really small mini step, because that would build that momentum and that would have that snowball effect. So yeah, just put one step in front of another. So whether it
yeah,
is learning Power BI, whether it is growing in your career, becoming a consultant, or something personal, taking care of your own fitness and having better work-life balance, being able to travel more, whatever that is, just focus on the smallest step maybe you can take today or the next week, the next month. Go from there. Cool. So, of course, the 30-day challenge and, of course, the scholarship programs and the Learn Power BI 30-day challenge work similarly. So, 30-day challenge, we do have folks recruited. Mandy, who is live on the call, I got a chance to talk to her. We had a group event, and we have turned around the way we look at the challenge and run the challenge. And I'm curious, like I've told you about it, but I don't think I've ever asked you, like, what do you feel about it? So earlier, our stance was that, oh, go find a project of your own.
yes,
That's the
yes,
best
yes.
way. And it
Yeah,
was kind of like the what is that, my way or highway, right? So yeah, just
yes.
go find the project, or shoulder shrug, like, sorry, you're
Yeah,
stuck, right? And I kept emphasizing, like, the best way to get real good at Power BI is to be
yeah,
working on real data with a real client. So, and
yeah,
client can be internal, can be in your job. So I kept emphasizing that.
yeah,
But of course, once I started listening, and that's where I really appreciated working with Robert, because Robert is kind of my ears and eyes. Like, so, and again, I mean, I talk to a lot of members myself, but Robert talks to a lot more. He's got the, kind of, so he through Robert and through talking to members, I realized that, man, we kept hearing from people who are either in between jobs, or maybe due to whatever reason they're in a even if they have a job, they don't have the opportunity to work on a project due to some reason. But again, a lot of people are kind of in between jobs. These are moms trying to return back to work, and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. Somebody who went through an injury, who knows what's going on in their life. So they're in between jobs and they just don't have that opportunity. And now in our program, and it's going to be available to both the scholarship participants and our Learn Power BI members, of course, is that we've done a complete 180 where we're saying, come in, set a goal for yourself, begin with the end in mind. 30-day, you're going to finish a dashboard. If you have the opportunity to select a project at your work, that's great. That's always good. But now we have 5 different real data sets. And I'm hoping
yeah,
every time we run this challenge, we can add more data set. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that our members can help us, and some of them have stepped up. Like I was talking to Kunal Patel, one of our members in the Learn Power BI program. He's been doing some great work. He's in academia, works at university, and
Yeah.
I've been talking to. It was actually was it Kunal's idea? But anyway, so Kunal and I have been talking. Can he take that data set and can we anonymize it and make it available for members inside a program? And another advantage for that is that that is another thing that you and I both heard, which is like, hey, the course is great, your videos are great, but you know what? My data is in sales or finance,
Yeah.
and I'm just having a little bit of trouble applying it. The concepts
Yeah.
are the same, data table, lookup table, all that sort of stuff. DAX works the same way, but still, it's can I see it in HR data? Can I see it
Yeah.
in property management data or something else? And we're hoping we can do that too. So we can keep adding data sets. So again, right now there are 5 real data sets. So yeah, so you need real data, not AdventureWorks, not Contoso, because you can't analyze this stuff. I've tried that. You get deeper enough and it just stops making sense. Like
Yeah.
AdventureWorks, I keep running into so many of those problems. And plus, frankly, for me, it's less motivating. When I have a real data set, I'm like, oh man, this is real business. This actually happened.
Yes.
Let me find the insights. Let me see the correlations. It's a lot more exciting. So they're real data sets. Um, and boy, it took me it took me quite an effort to anonymize it, but I think I've gotten better at it. And of course, that's another thing that we've been talking about. That hey, can we kind of standardize it? Can we teach others? Can we help others anonymize their data sets so we can have a richer pool? So we have the richer data set. And the second idea, so again, remember I said to get real good, you need real data, you need a real client. How do
Yeah.
we solve that? How do we solve that real client? That's a challenge because you could be working with a
Yeah.
real data set, but if
Yeah.
you're just working in you close yourself in a dark room, that's how people, often try to learn Power BI. Like, "Oh, I'm just going to learn it myself and then come out in the world and it's like, hey, ta-da, I know Power BI.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, right? Power BI is agile BI. You need to learn it in that agile fashion too. So you need to have that back and forth. So for that, of course, this time is going to be an experiment. We're going to see how that goes. I have
Yeah.
2 ideas. One is that they can use a friend, family, colleague to stand in as a client. And I think that
Sure.
can
And
work.
that's the questions.
And
Yes.
I think the first reaction people might have is that, oh, but I don't know anybody who knows Power BI. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? The clients that I work with, they don't know Power BI. That's why they hire me. So yeah, they don't have to
Yeah.
know Power BI. They just have to be, kind of semi-intelligent, and yeah, just so
Somebody
just
who
so
can
you
ask good questions. Yes.
exactly love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
ask good questions, give you some feedback. What about this? What about this? Why does it work this way? That something like that. Yeah. So even if they're
Yeah.
like semi-intelligent, it would be good. So that's one option, and we're hoping people can find that. And again, the bar is now much lower. They can just check in with this person once every week, once every 2 weeks, and yeah, just say, hey, this is what I did, and that could work. Now, of course, the backup is that you and I can serve as the
Yeah.
client. Now, of course, we can't stretch ourselves too thin. We're serving this wide community of our members, of our followers. So it's going to be limited. It's going to be based
Yeah.
on the live calls that we run. But I already have calls scheduled with the dashboard challenge participants within the Learn Power BI program. We got some amazing folks in there. You are obviously, once you kick off the scholarship program, you're going to have those calls scheduled, and again, you can stand in for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just curious, just off the top of your head, what was it feel about the scholarship participants last time? How many of them did have access to real data, real projects that they could pick? Basically, they had a full time
Yeah.
job, or they had a job at that
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
So, um, quite a bunch of them, in terms of learning and commitment, the majority were really committed and learning. But the truth is, as you have mentioned, the bar was set way too high, and we keep on coming back to this mini steps
Yeah.
where once they got in, we were like, it's our way or the highway. Go get yourself a project. And I think a lot of people hit the roadblock just there. So because
Yeah.
they what we're asking in reality, that is how the real world works. If you really want to uh, grow in terms of becoming a consultant or getting a project, you need to work with real data. But we are asking people who are just starting in Power BI a really, really high ask, and a lot of them,
Yeah.
I think, really struggle with that, and that may have yeah, may have made them to struggle way more, and some of them fell off because they could not find a really tangible project. Now,
Yeah.
this time, I think we've changed two things. So we are going to help them take action, and we're also going to help them get data. How are we helping them take action? So we, as we say, Power BI is agile BI. So we want them for the very first week to approach Power BI in a very agile way, use our AdventureWorks database and the recorded material to go on a week dash of the
Hmm.
zero to dashboard. So they need to create, using the data provided, something to showcase within a week, and that's only after you create something tangible. You have been able to go through
Yeah.
the course, you've learned something, you have iterated several times, then you, only then you can be able to unlock the full scholarship.
Wow. I
So
love that.
that is the first step. That is agile and take action. Then of course, we're still open to people have bringing in their own projects and coming on with their own data. But for anybody who gets selected and they feel, I don't have the data, or what you're asking is good, but it's a very high step, we have the real 5 real data sets that we are speaking about. The good thing, most of them is familiar to us. So if we want to step in as a client to them, we have a rough idea how what the data is and how it works, and we can be able to ask these questions, and we can be able to stand in as a client to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So Eric is asking, where can I get the projects? So Eric, what we were talking about is you have two paths. One is enroll in the Learn Power BI program, which is a paid program, or just this week we have the Learn Power BI scholarship open, and I had posted the link there. So yeah, you can apply for that, and both paths lead to this. So Robert, man, this is taking me back to when I was looking for my first job, and it was such a
Yeah,
chicken and egg. And a lot of
yeah,
people, even if you're returning back to a job, if you've had a break due to whatever reason, it can be in the same situation where it's a chicken and egg, right? Said, hey, I mean, like, uh, how do we get experience without a job, and how do I get a job
yeah.
without experience? And we gotta solve that problem, and I think this would. So let's play this out. So we have
Okay.
this new approach, and we have seen some of the results that other members have had by bringing their own project, but now it's open and accessible to a lot more people,
Yeah,
especially those who are between jobs. But let's play it out. So I go in either through the Learn Power BI paid program or through the scholarship,
yeah.
and I have the structured step-by-step course. I
Yes.
have zero to dashboard, and then I have modules which take me in each aspect of Power BI: data modeling, Power Query, DAX, visualizations, the PowerBI.com platform. I have that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through zero to dashboard, do the exercises, and then we launch on that 30-day project. And I have the core concepts, and I can bring in my own project or choose from the real data sets. I can have my friend or colleague, somebody to stand in as a client, or use Team Avi, Robert, and I as kind of the client, and then I work through the project. And you and I know that it's going to be challenging. Everybody has
Yeah,
gone through an experience like that. So everybody who has presented in our dashboard, folks, if you've checked out our wall of inspiration, if not, definitely check that out. I'll try to put a link on there too. But in a lot of those videos, at the end of it, if you watch till the end, I often ask them about the journey. And I ask them that, I mean, they have just shown a really amazing dashboard. And I asked
yeah,
them, what were you feeling when you were starting out? I love asking that question. And they almost always talk about that hesitation and fear and not feeling enough and ready and all that. And of course, you know what I always say, courage is in the absence of fear. Right? So everybody had that fear, that doubt, that anxiety. Courage is taking action in spite of the fear. Oh, my, it keeps coming back to action, right? So as they're stepping through, there's going to be a lot of this internal turmoil, this internal, oh, can I do this? Can I not? Oh, this was a big mistake. And I
yeah,
think that's where the coaching and the community element helps. You have
Yeah.
a coach, which is kind of your helpline. What's the, yeah, I haven't watched in a while. The Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Those shows have like a helpline, right? You can call a friend, something like
Yes.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's something
Yeah.
like that. So they can reach out to us. They can email us, message us saying, "Hey, Robert. Hey, Avi. Man, I'm stuck and blah. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Whatever it is," and we can pull them
Yeah.
out. Or of course, they have the community in the scholarship.
Yes.
They have the
Yes.
other scholarship participants, and they would
Yeah.
get to know each other over time. And then in the Learn Power BI program, again, we have the community, we have the Learn Power BI Challenge participants. So they have that to get them through their internal struggle. They have the structure, they have the support. So they use all that to build a project. And then, of
Yeah.
course, comes that crucial step, which is in this world, you can't just do good work and hope to succeed. You got to do good work and tell great stories. You got to tell others about that work. So, yeah, so we're going to have our members, the minimum bar I think would be to just do a LinkedIn post. They're gonna have two
Yes.
options. One is do a public post on their own profile, tag me and
Yeah.
Robert, so we can kind of promote that post as well. Make sure it goes out to a wider audience. I mean, I got 16,000 plus followers, so I can comment, tag, and it'll go out to a much bigger audience, giving you much better exposure. So you post there, and if somebody's really nervous, then they can post inside our private Learn Power BI community. That would still kind of, get you through the motions of sharing a story, but it's not
Yeah.
public yet if you're not somehow ready. But of
Yeah.
course, once they have that, then they also would have the opportunity to present in a dashboard showcase. And in my mind, so I was thinking about it, Robert, and man, I think all that is that that's a practice interview. I think.
Yeah.
Like if you
It
go in
is.
an interview,
It is.
so again, we talked about that again, not me, the number one best-selling book in the world says that one of the best ways to get a job is to be able to show proof of work. And I think that also applies if you want to get promoted, if you want to, just want to show the proof of work.
Yeah.
So in every interview at some point, there's going to be that time where you're going to present your story. And depending on the setting, you might have a short amount of time. You might have 2 minutes, you might have 5 minutes, you might have more time. Who knows, right? But I think that essentially what the dashboard showcases is kind of practice, kind of rehearsal. And if we have done all that, and actually, you know what? We haven't done all of that. They have done all of that. They have taken all
Yes.
this action. We have
Yeah.
supported them. How do you think that's going to be when they walk in an interview?
Mm. So, I think, like you mentioned, this is um, practicing selling themselves, because a lot of people do a lot of good work, but they really, nobody knows that they've done that work. So, and LinkedIn is highly underutilized. I saw somebody, there's a trend going on in Kenya where people are saying, young people, particularly the Gen Zs, who are saying LinkedIn is the most useless platform. Well, of course they don't know
Mm,
how to use it. I feel it is the most underutilized platform, especially for young people. So just having the courage to post and showcase what you do to the people who know you, it's, you're miles ahead because you're practicing selling yourselves. And to be fair, what we do in most cases, be it to your manager, be it to your wife, we are always selling ideas and agendas and trying to
yeah.
convince people to do something. So posting is one great way of practicing selling yourselves and telling your story. One other thing that will be a bit different in the scholarship, and which worked really really perfectly the last time, had really great results, was accountability partners. Um, we paired the people who joined the scholarship in twos randomly,
Mm,
and for some reason we had some really really good pairs of people. Some people, by that I mean randomly you're attached to somebody else, and they hold you accountable throughout the week before we meet, and they make sure you go through the course material. You have you have taken action, you've made a step to progress. And some people really really took that not only to their partner, but held accountable other people in the group, and that worked very, very well. So being in a cohort, having an accountability partner, and also taking action to sell yourself, practicing to post, I think it's a really, really good combination.
Awesome, awesome, great, cool. So hey, we've covered a lot of ground. Of course, folks will keep kind of experimenting. It's funny. I mean, yeah, I left Microsoft 10 years ago. Pretty much been teaching, coaching since then. But I feel lucky. I enjoy this adventure, this challenge, and in a way, it's humbling. Where I learn new things, new nuances. For example, just this idea of focusing on action,
Yeah,
that working with people who are taking action and just encouraging them to take action. And you heard Robert talk about the mini steps thing, and that's a good reminder for me, because yeah, I mean that's what we focus on. It's like, yeah, just make it like smaller steps so they can do it easily. And of course, this shift in how can we help them get real world experience inside the program,
yeah.
whether they have a job or not. Awesome. So, folks, I put the link to the scholarship in the chat. So, learnpowerbi.com/scholarship. Its applications are only open this week. So, make sure you apply. And sometimes I know people kind of count themselves out. In fact, Robert, you and I, when we've talked to people, they often say
Yes.
that, oh, I never thought I would get it. But Robert and I see a very different perspective. What we see is that if you're qualified and if you make an effort, your chances are really, really high because we see applications where people put in like one word responses and for like, and, and, and Robert, you know what? My theory is that it sounds odd, but I think the same thing happens in the job process. So
Yes.
yesterday, just for kicks, I was looking at LinkedIn jobs and it would have like, oh, this job, and it has like 1,000 applicants, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
2,300 people have applied. But I don't really know how the LinkedIn process works, but I'm assuming there might be a questionnaire and something they fill out. But yeah, most people don't put in that effort. I know back
Yeah.
in the day, and of course things have now changed. They're easy applying LinkedIn, other platforms, and so forth. But earlier it was like resume and the cover letter, and they always
Yeah.
said that customize it. But man, job hunting process was way could be grueling. So yeah, initially I would customize it, but then I'm like, oh my god, I'm just gonna mail it in. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that don't count yourself out. You're certainly gonna miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Take a shot at this. I'm telling you, if you're qualified, if you just do an honest effort to fill out the application, your chances of getting the scholarship is actually really, really high, no matter the number of applicants. That is irrelevant. If you're qualified, you're going to get it. So that's that. But of course, our learnpowerbi.com program is open by application after that too. Just go to our website, learnpowerbi.com. Hey, Robert, thank you so much for your time. And hey, I would take this opportunity to also mention to folks that hey, how much I appreciate Robert and Carl. Of course, Carl is like the kind of the his strength. He operates more from the backstage, but he's crucial in the awesome videos that you see, the awesome video editing. None of that is me; it's all Carl. And Robert is key in engaging with the members, and certainly he's now running the scholarship program. So that's awesome. All right, folks, we will see you next time. Take care. Power on.
Okay. Bye.